The biggest mistake seniors make when their vision blurs or memory slips is assuming it's normal aging. It's not. It's your body running out of the raw materials it needs to stay alive inside your eyes and brain. I've met too many people who brushed it off at first. They noticed the streetlights at night looked fuzzier than before, that words on the shampoo bottle were harder to read, that they needed to pause a moment longer to recall someone's name, someone they'd known for years, and they told themselves, well, this is just what getting older feels like. But here's what I want you to hear, and I mean this with all the urgency I can give you. That slow fading is not harmless. When your eyesight softens and your memory begins to slip, what's really happening is a kind of quiet starvation. Your retina, the part of your eye that captures light and sends it to the brain, is losing its strength. And at the same time, the pathways inside your brain responsible for clarity, recognition, and reaction are struggling to keep up. It doesn't happen overnight. It's not dramatic. That's what makes it so dangerous. Because by the time most people notice how much they've lost, they've already adapted to the decline. They've learned to squint, to reread, to write things down twice. They think they're coping, when in fact, they're compensating for something that shouldn't be breaking down this fast. And the good news? You can still feed these parts of you, because they're still alive, still responsive, still capable of healing if you give them what they need. That's what this video is about. I'm going to share 3 everyday fruits, nothing fancy, nothing imported from across the world, that contain the exact compounds your retina and brain cells are starving for. Nutrients that help protect and rebuild. Molecules that support clear vision, fast thinking, and strong neural communication. One of these fruits helps soothe the sensitive tissue at the back of your eyes. Another works like an anti-inflammatory shield for the memory center of your brain. And the last one, well, I'll just say this. It may be the single most powerful fruit for keeping both your mind and your eyesight sharp as the years go on. So if you're someone who wants to stay independent, if you want to keep recognizing faces, reading books, remembering appointments, and walking into any room with confidence, I hope you'll stay with me. And if this is your first time here, welcome to Senior Brain Vision. I'm glad you found your way here. If these kinds of practical, science-backed tips sound helpful to you, feel free to subscribe. We'd love to have you with us. Now, let's begin. The first fruit on our list might already be sitting in your fridge, and what it's doing inside your neurons is nothing short of remarkable. There's a reason I start with kiwi. Among all the fruits you'll find at your local store, kiwi may be the most underestimated ally for your eyes and your brain. Small, fuzzy, and tart, it rarely gets the credit it deserves. But inside this little fruit is a dense supply of nutrients your aging body is quietly craving. Your retina is a layer of light-sensitive cells that captures images and sends them directly to your brain. But these cells are delicate. They're exposed to light damage, oxidative stress, and inflammation day after day. After 60, this damage accelerates. That's when you start noticing more glare at night, slower light adjustment, or eye fatigue that didn't used to be there. Kiwi is rich in lutein and zeaxanthin, 2 antioxidant pigments that naturally embed into the retina and act as built-in shields. They filter harmful blue light and reduce oxidative stress right at the source. A 2017 study in the Journal of Food and Nutrition Research found that regular kiwi consumption led to increased macular pigment density, a direct indicator of retinal protection. But the story doesn't end with your eyes. Kiwi also has powerful effects on your brain, particularly in how it supports memory, focus, and emotional clarity. For one, kiwi has one of the highest concentrations of vitamin C per gram of any fruit. In the brain, vitamin C isn't just for immunity. It's essential for producing neurotransmitters like dopamine and norepinephrine chemicals that affect alertness, motivation, and memory. It also helps neutralize free radicals that damage brain cells. Even more interesting is kiwi's flavonoid content plant compounds that support blood flow to the brain. A 2019 study, published in the journal Nutrients, found that older adults who consumed high flavonoid foods had better working memory and faster reaction times. What does this mean for you? It means kiwi doesn't just protect, it helps repair, it helps rewire. Let me tell you about Susan, a 68-year-old retired librarian. She came to me because she felt her eyes were straining by afternoon. More troubling, She was beginning to forget names during casual conversations, something she said had never happened before. Her diet was low in antioxidants, and she hadn't eaten fresh fruit in weeks. We made one small change. I asked her to start her morning with a golden kiwi each day. After 6 weeks, she told me, I didn't need my reading glasses during book club, and I remembered everyone's name. That's the power of giving your body what it's been missing. When it comes to using kiwi, the best time is in the morning, before breakfast, or with something light. That's when your digestive system is primed for absorption, and when your brain and eyes are just beginning their workday. 1 to 2 kiwis is plenty. If green kiwi is too tart, the golden variety is milder, sweeter, and just as effective. You can enjoy it alone with a spoon, blend it into a smoothie, or pair it with a few almonds for added vitamin E. What matters most is not how you eat it, but that you do consistently. Because your retina and your neurons are under daily pressure, they need daily support, and kiwi offers that in a way few other fruits can. This isn't a miracle food, but it is a reliable one. It doesn't ask for much, just a small place in your morning. In return, it helps protect the tissues that help you read, think, remember, and feel like yourself. So if your world has been feeling a little fuzzier, if your focus takes longer to arrive, kiwi might be the signal your brain and eyes have been waiting for. And now that we've talked about repair and clarity, let's look at something even deeper. A fruit that defends your vision and memory from the inside out. A fruit that reduces inflammation and restores balance to the brain's most fragile center. If kiwi is the fruit that helps repair and rewire, papaya is the fruit that calms and protects. It works like a gentle shield not just for your vision, but for the memory systems that begin to falter with age. As we grow older, one of the biggest threats to the brain and the eyes isn't just damage, it's inflammation. The kind that doesn't cause pain or swelling, but quietly disrupts how your cells talk to each other. It slows down signals, it clouds clarity, and it weakens the tissues that once felt strong and reliable. This is where papaya becomes so valuable. Inside its soft orange flesh is a natural pharmacy, packed with vitamin C, beta-carotene, and a rare enzyme called papain. Together, these compounds help reduce the low-grade, chronic inflammation that silently accelerates both retinal aging and cognitive decline. The retina is especially vulnerable to this kind of stress. Tiny blood vessels nourish the photoreceptor cells that allow you to see detail, contrast, and color. When inflammation damages these vessels, oxygen delivery suffers. That's when things start to look foggier. That's when night driving becomes harder. That's when your eyes fatigue faster than they used to. Papaya brings 2 layers of defense. First, beta-carotene, a pigment your body converts to vitamin A. In 2018, a study from the University of Illinois, published in Molecular Nutrition and Food Research, found that higher intake of beta-carotene was associated with a reduced risk of retinal degeneration, especially in older adults with early-stage vision issues. Second, vitamin C and papaya is loaded with it. 1 cup provides over 150% of the daily recommended amount. Vitamin C supports the resilience of retinal blood vessels, helps rebuild light-sensitive cells, and limits the oxidative stress that leads to age-related vision loss. But the impact of papaya goes far beyond the eyes. In the brain, the region called the hippocampus is essential for forming memories, processing information, and staying mentally sharp. It's also one of the brain's most inflammation-sensitive areas. When inflamed, this part of the brain becomes sluggish. Memory recall slows. Learning new information takes longer. Processing speed declines. That's why foods like papaya matter. A 2020 study in Brain, Behavior and Immunity showed that adults who consumed more anti-inflammatory nutrients, particularly carotenoids and vitamin C, preserved more brain volume in the hippocampus and performed better on memory tests over time. Papaya also contains digestive enzymes that ease the burden on your gut, reducing systemic inflammation that can travel to the brain. Its antioxidant compounds cross the blood-brain barrier, where they help calm overactive microglia, the brain's immune cells, allowing your neural connections to stay intact longer. Perhaps most interesting of all is how papaya works when consumed at the end of the day. In 2016, researchers from the University of Milan published a study in Nutritional Neuroscience exploring how antioxidant-rich fruits affect overnight brain repair. They found that older adults who consumed such fruits in the evening had better cognitive performance the next morning, possibly due to enhanced glymphatic activity, the brain's self-cleaning system that clears waste during sleep. In other words, what you eat before bed doesn't just influence your digestion. It influences how well your brain recovers. Papaya supports that recovery. Just half a cup in the evening, at least an hour after your last meal, is enough. You don't need to blend it or bake it or make a smoothie out of it. The simplicity is part of the beauty. Slice it, chill it, and take your time. Make it part of a quiet, nourishing, close to your day. Because healthy aging isn't about pushing harder. It's about choosing better. Choosing the foods that give your body the chance to heal while you rest. Papaya does exactly that. And now that we've explored protection and calm, it's time to turn to one last fruit. One that brings energy, focus, and something your brain has been waiting for more than you might realize. In a world full of exotic superfoods and trendy supplements, it's easy to overlook the most familiar things. And yet, sometimes, the simplest choices carry the greatest impact. That's exactly where apples come in. We don't think of apples as powerful. They're ordinary, eaten without thought, sliced into lunchboxes, left in bowls. But inside each crisp bite is a set of compounds that do more than satisfy hunger. They support the tissues that age quietly, the retina, the blood vessels behind the eyes, and the memory centers of the brain. Apples work on multiple fronts. First, they help stabilize vision, especially central vision, by reducing the inflammation and vascular stress that contribute to retinal thinning. This matters more than most people realize. Behind the retina are a network of fragile capillaries that deliver nutrients and oxygen to your photoreceptors. As you age, those vessels can become stiffer, narrower, and more prone to oxidative damage. That's where one of apple's most valuable compounds steps in: quercetin. Quercetin is a flavonoid, a type of plant-based antioxidant that supports capillary strength and blood flow. In 2019, a study published in the journal Antioxidants found that quercetin reduced oxidative stress in retinal cells and helped preserve mitochondrial function, a key element in keeping those cells energized and alive. When these capillaries stay healthy, the retina stays clearer, your eyes adapt to light faster, visual contrast improves, and small details like faces, words, and colors become easier to see again. But the story doesn't end there. What makes apples truly unique is how they support something deeper. Not just protection, but plasticity. The brain's ability to grow new connections, to rewire itself, to adapt. This matters at every age, but especially after 60. Because as we grow older, the proteins that drive neuroplasticity start to decline. One of the most important of those proteins is called BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor. It's like fertilizer for your neurons. It helps maintain synaptic connections, supports learning, and even affects mood and emotional resilience. In 2020, researchers at the University of Reading published a paper in the journal Nutritional Neuroscience, showing that the polyphenols in apples, particularly from the skin, enhanced BDNF expression in aged rats, improving both memory performance and mood regulation. Now, of course, you're not a rat, but that's not the point. The point is that apples contain compounds that don't just protect your brain, they encourage it to stay flexible, responsive, and young. And that shows up in real ways. Better recall of names, faster recovery from distraction, a sense of sharpness you can feel when you wake up and start your day. There's another layer, too. Apples also support metabolic stability, especially when eaten in the morning. Their fiber slows the release of sugars into the bloodstream, preventing glucose spikes that can damage the retina and inflame neural tissue. This gentle regulation helps protect the small vessels in both the eyes and the brain, the same vessels that often become fragile with age. And unlike many fruits, apples are incredibly easy to incorporate. You don't need to peel or prep. You don't need a recipe. You don't need a blender. Just wash, slice, and eat. The most benefit seems to come from apples eaten with the skin on, especially red or green varieties with higher antioxidant content. A small apple in the morning paired with protein or a few nuts gives your retina and your brain a gentle boost of protection and clarity to start the day. And here's something worth remembering. Neuroprotection is not about doing everything at once. It's about choosing foods, routines, and rhythms that help your body repair quietly, slowly, and deeply over time. Apples support that rhythm. They don't make promises. They just deliver one bite at a time. And now that we've walked through all three, one that rewires, one that protects, and one that calms, the question becomes simple. How do you bring these together in a way that fits your life gently, naturally, and without complication? Now that you know what these three fruits can do, the question becomes simple. How do you actually bring them into your life? Because healing doesn't require fancy diets or expensive powders. What your brain and your eyes really need is consistency. Here's how I recommend starting. Choose one fruit for each part of your day. Not to overwhelm yourself, but to create small, steady signals of support morning, noon, and night. In the morning, begin with apples. Just one small apple with the skin on can help stabilize blood sugar, protect your retinal vessels, and stimulate the production of BDNF, the brain's rewiring messenger. You can slice it, eat it whole, or pair it with a spoonful of nut butter or a few almonds for added benefit. Let that first bite remind you that this is a new day and that your brain is still capable of clarity. Around midday or early afternoon, enjoy your kiwi. This is the time when many seniors feel energy dip, focus slip, and eye fatigue creep in. One golden kiwi, or two if they're small, provides a direct hit of vitamin C, lutein, and flavonoids to help restore sharpness and protect your retinal cells. You can eat it on its own, or add it to yogurt or a light salad. But what matters is that you give your retina and your neurons something to work with during the second half of the day. And in the evening, about an hour after dinner, make space for papaya. Half a cup of ripe, chilled papaya can soothe inflammation, calm the brain's overactive immune system, and support overnight retinal repair. This is not dessert. It's nourishment, the kind that helps your body do its quiet work while you sleep. You don't need to rush it. Just enjoy it slowly, as a way to close the day with intention. That's it. 3 fruits, 3 moments, 1 clear path to better vision, stronger memory, and a deeper sense of mental presence. And of course, this isn't a cure. Nothing in life works instantly. But when you give your body the raw materials it's been missing, things begin to change. Not overnight, but night after night. That's how rewiring happens. That's how vision returns. That's how clarity is rebuilt, one choice at a time. So if you've felt your eyesight slipping, if you've noticed moments of forgetfulness that didn't used to be there, know this: you are not stuck, and you are not too late. Your brain and your eyes are waiting. They're still listening. And with the right support, they will respond. If you've made it this far into the video, thank you. That tells me you care about your health, your independence, and your future. And I hope something here has helped you feel a little more hopeful, a little more clear. If it has, feel free to like this video, share it with someone who might need it, or leave a comment below to inspire others. And if you're new here, I'd love for you to subscribe. We have so much more to explore together. Until next time, stay well, stay sharp, and keep choosing life, one bite at a time.